Power of you controlling your breathing right now. Feel the power of you enjoying your greatest gift right now. That's you. That's your presence. That's your greatest power. Your power to determine to stay in the present, in the now, and be your true great being that you are. No matter what. In this present moment, everything is here you need right now. So let's see ourselves today doing the best we can. Gym of life. Here we are again. Controlling our minds. Controlling our breathing. One great thought at a time. One great breath at a time. So see yourself doing your best on all the exercises we do today together, here and now. That's your determination, your greatest power, power that's the same in you and every human being on the planet.
In the night I lie and look up at you. When the morning comes I watch you rise. There's a paradise they couldn't capture, that bright infinity inside your eyes. 매일 밤 내게 날아가 꿈이란 아무것도 잊은 채나 웃으며 너를 만나 Never ending forever baby You are my universe and I just want to put you first You are my universe and you make my world light up inside 어둠이 내겐 더 변했었지 길어진 그림자 속에서 And we thought that we can't be together Because we come from different sides You are my universe and I just want to put you first You are my universe and you make my world light up inside My universe My universe My universe 나를 밝혀주는 건 너란 사랑으로 수놓아진 별내 우주에 넌 다른 세상을 만들어주는 걸 너는 내 별이자 나의 호주니까 지금 이 시련도 결국엔 잠시니까 너는 언제까지나 지금처럼 밝게만 빛나줘 우리는 너를 따라 이긴 밤을 수놓고 너와 함께 날아가 When I'm without you I'm crazy 자 어서 내 손을 잡아 We are made of each other baby You are my universe and I just want to put you first
Hi again, everybody. Today, Sadhguru shares his wisdom in his first rule, enhance your perception. So I want us to think about that. Enhance your perception. Your perception, the way you look at things, is not necessarily the way it is. In fact, it's not. It's simply all your life experiences, your what we call paradigms, your scripts, the things that have happened to you, the outside conditions, and how you've responded to this point. So let's work on enhancing our perception and using our intelligence. Like I said before, and what I believe is we are infinitely intelligent. We are created and seen and born in the likeness and image of God, source, universe, however you want to refer to this power. So enhancing our perception means we have to use the most powerful thing, our thoughts, to change the way we look at things. If you think there's a problem, that very thought is the problem. It's up to you. Have a great day, everybody. Hi again, everybody.
The way that you view time matters. When you believe that your time is valuable and you treat it as if it is a scarce commodity, all of a sudden other people begin to treat you and that time with you as if it's more valuable. If you show me your schedule and I'll show you your life. You show me how you use your time and I'll show you how happy you are, how fit you are, how wealthy you are. And it's the worst feeling in the world to feel like you wasted time, isn't it? Because when you meet with me, you're not only in your hour, but you're in mine. And so if we're going to spend some time, let's do it great. Let's have some fun. Let's learn. Let's grow. If you're going to live, you might as well win. You know, 170,000 people didn't wake up today. They don't get another second. They don't get another minute. And you and I do. And shouldn't we start to appreciate those minutes more? Time is precious. People are precious. Let's make the most of the day. Let's start to look at every hour as if it counts. Let's look at every day as if it counts. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. So today we're going to talk about time. I think it's probably one of the most important topics you can possibly cover because it's the one thing you can't get back in life. It's every single second that goes by in your life, you have fewer and fewer of them remaining. And I want to talk about it today because I think over the years, it's been one of the great keys to me amassing, the amount of wealth that I've been blessed to acquire, things like this podcast, the businesses I've built, relationships, friends, etc., has a lot to do with the way that I view time. And it's an interesting topic because I've taught it for many, many years. There's actually a couple funny clips on social media of me teaching it where I misspeak a couple times about it. And I don't think most people that see those clips know that I've built hundreds of millions of dollars with these strategies in my own life and built a bunch of businesses and been blessed to help a lot of people. And I think the way that you view time matters. And so I'm going to go through a couple principles with you today, and then I'm going to show you some strategies on managing your time, managing your day that I think will serve you. And hopefully I can do it in a way that is articulate and makes sense. So the first thing I want you to know is that I think in the top 3 keys in my life the last 30 years has been my viewpoint and the way that I manage and I think manipulate and use time in my life. And so we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We all get 60 minutes in an hour, but how we use them and how we look at them means everything for a few reasons. Number one, what is scarce in life is valuable. And so when you believe that your time is valuable and you treat it as if it is a scarce commodity because it is, that all of a sudden other people begin to treat you and that meeting and that time with you as if it's more valuable. And so just off the top, you beginning to value seconds and minutes in your day matter. This isn't one of these things about being superhuman and working all the time. Listen, I take a lot of time to rest. I love Netflix and chill days. I love laying on the couch. If you knew me very well, you know I'm inherently an actual very lazy person. When people meet my family, they'll say, "What's it like living with him?" And they'll have to go, "Probably not what you think." I love to relax. I love to not work. I love that. And so because I'm that way, I had to build rituals, disciplines, viewpoints, and structures around time to make sure that I was hyper productive and successful, because left to my own devices, I would not be successful. I would not be productive. And so I've run something called mini days now for many years. It was a concept I was taught more than 30 years ago by a mentor of mine. The idea of it comes from this premise that as technology has increased, our way we view time should have changed with it. Yet, if you think about, of all the constructs of society, the one thing that's really never changed is our perception of efficiency, our perception of time, and how we manage it and use it to our advantage. And so it is really something that's pretty silly. When I was a kid in school, if I wanted to do a report, I had to get my mom and dad to drive me down to a library. I'd have to go into the library, search for the book, write it out by hand out of a book, then go to a typewriter and type it. If I mess up one letter, you got to rip the page out. Type. It took forever to type a report. Now, you can just go on the internet and type it. They can get ChatGPT. They can download. They can get all the information that took me hours and hours and hours, sometimes weeks, to do in 30 minutes. So that day should look different in the way I perceive time, and what I think I can get done in an hour should be different. And so I started to look at days differently, meaning, have you ever had a morning where you go, "Man, I crushed it. I got so much done. I got more done this morning than I can get done in most days, most weeks sometimes." Well, that's true in almost everybody's life. So why not start to look at time differently? In other words, I also think one of the fallacies nowadays is that meetings need to always be an hour long. Well, why is that? I mean, if I have Zoom, I could maybe do a meeting in 30 minutes that used to take an hour, right? So these things, we should start to look at our time differently. So I started running something called mini days many, many years ago. Now, again, before I get into this, let me be very clear. A regular 24-hour day for me many times is I am laying on the couch all day Sunday after church, watching football, doing nothing else in my sweats. That's a day. And that could also be one of my mini days. So please don't think this is some personal development. Oh, we work and grind all the time. It is not that. What I am saying is it's insane to look at time the same way now that we did even 30 years ago, pre-internet, pre-chat GPT, pre-Google, pre-text message, pre-email, pre-mobile phone. I'm old enough to remember that I would have to go to my house and there was a rotary phone. We could only have one person on the phone at one time. And I would have to dial and hope you were at your house to pick up. I remember before there were answering machines. This is how old I am. Then we went to pagers. Then we went to cell phones. Like, it's crazy that the same time would be measured the same way when now everybody's reachable. So, having said all of that, what are these mini days? My first day starts from 6 a.m. to noon. And in my mind, I, in this day and age, should be able to get done in those 6 hours what someone 30 years ago took them 24. And so I manage a day that way. And so it's 6 a.m. to noon. Now, sometimes that entire time is doing nothing like you do on other days. But oftentimes I try to get the most meetings, production, working out, fitness, fun, spirituality in that window of time. Here's what it's called, guys. Compressing time frames. That's all this is. You're compressing time frames so that you begin to view it differently. And so the other thing it does is I measure differently. So now that day ended at noon. Most people at the end of a day, a 24-hour day, take an inventory. What did I get done? What did I not get done? What did I miss? What do I need to double down on? What went well? What am I grateful for? Right? So they do that at the end of a 24-hour day. I just do it at the end of my 6-hour day. So there's a clock that kind of just goes off now in my head around noon every day. In fact, I'm coming up on it at the time I'm recording this in about 15 minutes. It just subconsciously, it's like an alarm. It kind of goes off at around noon. I go, okay, what did I get done today? And I look back at it and I'm grateful and I take an inventory. What did I miss? What do I need to double down on? Did I not get a chance to relax or whatever it might be? And then my second day starts from noon to 6 p.m. And this is another day in my mind of getting things done and productivity, work, etc., working out, relaxing, family, friends. But I've shrunk the time frame down. Why that matters is a few reasons. Number one, I'm more efficient. I'm also measuring and giving myself an evaluation and a course correction more regularly than most people do. But more importantly, maybe, myself and everybody around me values my time differently. Values my time. I'm in a little bit bigger hurry. I'm a little bit faster. Things with me became more valuable to myself and other people because it was more scarce. Diamonds are worth more than paper because they're more rare. When you have rarer time, you become more valuable. You begin to walk and talk and behave like a successful person, maybe even before the results are there because of the way you're looking at time. So my second day is noon to 6 p.m. And in there, I want to get whatever it is. Maybe it's a whole day of fitness. Maybe it's business and work. Maybe it's family. But I've now used those 6 hours. Would you agree with me that based on technology compared to even 30 years ago, you ought to be able to get far more phone calls or text messages done in an hour now than you did 30 years ago? Would you agree with me on that? So why is it that you're still measuring time like they did then? That just seems silly to me. And so I am now using those 6 hours as a day in my mind. And then at 6 p.m., I kind of have a little clock that goes off again. What did I get done? What did I not get done? What am I grateful for? Et cetera, et cetera. And what do I need to double down on? What did I miss? So it gives me another chance for evaluation, for reflection, for awareness. And it just happens really quick. And then the third day is 6 p.m. to midnight. And of course, in some of that window, you're sleeping. I go to bed at 9 p.m. So that day is not as long. Just like a normal 24-hour day, you're not awake the whole 24 hours. But somehow that's a third day. And in that day, I'm compressing time frames. I'm being efficient. Many people will tell you, I hear back from Ed a lot, 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock at night. A lot of times that's when I return emails and phone calls. And by the way, a lot of times for me, it's having a cigar and a bourbon and I'm returning 30 calls. But I'm using that as a day, right? And so now I got 3 days in one day. And so I begin to give myself more opportunities to be efficient, more opportunities for efficiency, more opportunities for me and the people around me to perceive my time as more valuable. And I believe I am running time in my life according to what technology provides it to. I'm under no illusion that everybody needs to do this, but I can tell you it's been significant for me. So by the way, at the end of a given week, I've had 21 days, so to speak, for evaluation, for reflection, for recalibration. I've shrunk meetings down to where they're more efficient. This has nothing to do with being superhuman or crazy or 10 million cold plunges or any personal development mumbo jumbo. This is just having time catch up to technology and the way it's measured and calibrated, to some extent the way that you manipulate it. And again, we all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same 60 seconds in a minute.
Morning, everybody. Last night I had the pleasure of going to see Raymond Aaron and another amazing presentation on the importance of finding a mentor or finding mentors for our life. We might be feeling that this path to personal growth and development, which is never ending, might be a little bit intimidating, or you might come on here and watch me do these videos and you think, well, this all sounds good, Nick, but how can I apply it to my life? Where do I begin? Or maybe there's thoughts in your head that you don't even want to begin because it seems overwhelming. Well, it's the day-to-day and step-by-step process that we have to enjoy, but we can't do it on our own. So we have to look at people that have done it and are continuing to do it every single day. So we need mentors. We need at least one mentor, and perhaps many in different aspects of life. Even the greats like Raymond Aaron still do it. Have a great day, everybody.
But at the same time, how we use them has everything to do with how our life. You show me your schedule, and I'll show you your life. You show me how you use your time, and I'll show you how happy you are, how fit you are, how wealthy you are. And I say this again, I've been blessed to create hundreds of millions of dollars of net worth and, and help lots of people in my life. And it's certainly not because of my talent level or my high IQ. It's because of the way that I've used my time. Now, there's other factors, but one of it is I've just looked at my life differently. Also, as a person who struggled with health later in my life now, time is more important to me. Family, how I use every minute. I'm blessed for another day every day. And so for me, time is precious. And I want to make sure that I'm using it to my advantage, that it doesn't use me. And I think it's an archaic idea to measure time like everybody else. If you're going to get a life that's different than other people, you've got to do something different than other people. And one of the things you can do different is just begin to think and use time differently. And maybe it's not my mini day concept, but for me, it's a great hack to exploration of productivity, prosperity, peace, success, and bliss. People ask me all the time about owning a business. What are some of the critical things? People. People matter, things don't. And I got to be honest with you, every team that wins has great players. Right now, you may have just realized your business needs to hire someone like yesterday. How can you find an amazing candidate really fast? Easy. You just need Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs posts help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for relevant candidates, so you reach people that you want to reach faster. You only pay for results. So there's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Milet. Just go to Indeed.com/Milet right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Milet. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. One of the things that this also does for you is I start kind of looking at like shaving minutes. So, for example, I try to do things that would normally take, say, 30 minutes. I try to schedule them in 20. I think you will find out that a lot of things that you think take a period of time, if you just give yourself the construct of a smaller window. So one of my routines, for example, is that when I'm training and working out, I'm really timing what I do in between my workouts. I realize that in the gym, there's a lot of empty time of conversation that's not productive. And so I now work out with headphones on. I don't have conversations. It's just me. It's just the way I like to train and work out. But I always want to feel efficient. I want to feel neat. I want to feel like what I'm doing is what greatness is. And if average and ordinary people are kind of wasting minutes, what does that do at some point? Have you ever had a conversation with a friend and they left the lunch, or you left it and you went, gosh, that wasn't what I was hoping it was, or a date or a talk with your children. And it's the worst feeling in the world to feel like you wasted time, isn't it? And I don't want to waste time in my life, particularly as I get older and I realize there's only so much more time left. Jesse Itzler and I talk about this a lot, but when my dad was alive, Jesse asked me, he goes, how many times a year do you see your dad? And my dad at the time was 70. My dad, I believe, passed at 75. And I said, I forget the exact number, but I ended up saying, I see my dad like 4 or 5 times a year. And so Jesse said, well, then if he passes at 75, I'm paraphrasing here, by the way, but he passes at 75, you don't have 5 more years with your dad. You have 20 more visits. And then it got us, Jesse and I, talking, and he and I have this running thing where I'll text him and go, hey, man, we've got 20 more summers. We've got 15 more Septembers or whatever it is. And when you begin to look at it differently, it becomes so precious. Also, the people that you meet with become more precious and valuable. You begin to take more of life in when you evaluate time. You do. It doesn't just fly by. When I was 8 years old, I didn't think about time. But when I remember when I turned 30, I thought, my gosh, I'm so old now. I'm 30 years old. I remember when my mom turned 30. And all of a sudden, as you get older, everybody listening to this, you'll attest to this. Time becomes more precious. And when you add a little health issue like I've had to it, it really does. And so every moment matters. Every second matters. You know, one of the great blessings you and I have right now is we're still here. We're still here. You know, 170,000 people didn't wake up today. And that doesn't just affect them, but their families and the people that love them. Literally over 1 million people today have been affected by the fact that someone didn't wake up today. They don't get another second. They don't get another minute. And you and I do. And shouldn't we start to appreciate those minutes more? God's given us all these blessings of technology that can shrink time, and we still think about a day the same way we did 30 years ago. Shame on us. Time is precious. People are precious. Today you woke up. Today I woke up. Let's make the most of the day. Let's start to look at every hour as if it counts. Let's look at every day as if it counts. How about every person as if they count? Every meeting. What if more and more this meeting meant something because it's scarce? This meeting meant something because we don't have forever to have them. Now, are there things in my life where I don't want a schedule on it? I just want to, yes, there is, and there are, and there always will be. But I want to get to those things as fast as I can by getting done with the things that I don't want to be doing. And there's a lot of times in life, I just really believe this. If you were to ask me, why are certain things happening in my life? I've just outworked most people. And most successful people at the end of it will tell you, I outworked them. I did more. And they do more because they look at time differently. They just do. And I think the happiest people look at time differently from many perspectives. Not only do they want to be more efficient and more productive, but they feel more blessed to have it. As you get older in life, you'll find your circle of friends shrinks. It doesn't get bigger at some point. The people that matter to you are so precious to you. Time with them is the greatest blessing in your life. And so why not begin to treat your life with that level of grace and blessing and preciousness now? And you do that by honoring the minute. You do that by honoring the hour. You do that by honoring yourself and all of the people around you with how you look at this precious time. Because when you meet with me, you're not only in your hour, but you're in mine. People ask me all the time, why do you put out content like you do? This specific, most people charge thousands of dollars for stuff that's not as good as you put out for free every week. It's because you've chosen to spend this time with me. You don't get this back, and neither do I. And so if we're going to spend some time, let's do it great. Let's have some fun. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's kick some tail. Right? If you're going to live, you might as well win. If you're going to live, you might as well dream. If you're going to live, you might as well help. If you're going to live, you might as well get to know God better. Right? This is awesome. Time is finite. And I could tell you this, when my dad was passing away, I could promise you this, my dad wasn't saying, hey, bring me my possessions. Bring me all of my awards. Bring me my money. My dad said, bring me my family. Bring me the people that I love. Bring the people that are precious to me. Living a good life is treating and honoring people with the time you spend with them. Treating and honoring yourself. See, to me, you're honoring God when you're saying, thank you for this moment, God. Thank you for this minute. Thank you for this day. I'm going to get the most out of it. I'm going to help as many people as I can. I'm going to have as much fun as I possibly can. I'm going to do everything I can to honor you and the people I love around me. Thank you. I think the way that you pay God back is how you honor him with the time you spend here, and not wasteful with it, and not spending it frivolously. You wouldn't do that with your money. Why do you do that with your time? You can get some money back. You can get some friends back, right? You can get some stuff back. You can't get time back. And so to begin to look at it like people who have lived pretty well look at it might serve you. And it's something I'm very passionate about. And I could tell you that when they do click my lights out someday and this thing's over, I want to look back and go, man, I did it. I maxed out my life. My first book was called Max Out. My hashtag on Instagram for years has been Max Out. I want to max out every moment of my life. I want to max out every opportunity, every relationship, every emotion. Life's about getting all of the juice from life, and you don't do that by wasting time. And you certainly don't do it by building the habit that your time doesn't matter. Other people's time doesn't. Another day, another dollar. I'll get around to it. Procrastinate. All these things is you're basically saying right now doesn't matter. You don't matter, and I don't matter. And I think you're better than that. And if there was a system that could help you get it, you should take advantage of it. And I can tell you, for me, 30 years ago, a mentor taught this to a room of about 30 people, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only one of those 30 people who did anything with it. But I went, you know what? I think that might be a little bit weird at first, but I'm going to make a run at this. I'm going to starting, okay, my day just started at 6 a.m. Let me see what I can get done by noon. Around noon, let me just evaluate a little bit. Let me see if I can compress time frames a little. I'll get this second day around noon. By the way, the man that taught me, it was worth $200 million, was married once in his life, very involved in his church. I thought, this guy's got a pretty good life. This sounds like a key.
It's like I'm living a dream, but it's how everyone feels. We all unite with one feel. So let's wave our hands. We can sing, we can dance. We are strong, hold on tight. From afar we unite. Ah yeah, ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our. This is the time of our. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. I love this moment right now. No one can take it away. So let it happen and how. It's why I cherish each day. So let's wave our hands. We can sing, we can dance. We are strong, hold on tight. From afar we unite.
Here we go.
Ah yeah, ah yeah. Here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. What we see, destiny. Realize now we all know the greatest. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our.
Again, everybody,
Today, Satguru shares another top 10 rule for success, and that is this: take a holiday from seriousness. And I love this, and I know it's something that I need to work on. I tend to be an intense person. I want to get better. I want to always be the best I can be, but I got to remember to also relax and just realize that this path to personal growth and development is never ending. It is extremely hard. I'd say maybe 95 to 98% of the world doesn't even want to try to get on that path of infinite mind wealth because it is so intimidating. However, we got to enjoy the moments to moments. We got to enjoy when we make mistakes, because that's how we know we're getting closer. And we got to be able to laugh at ourselves. And I think this is one thing I got to work on. So if you're feeling intimidated, you don't know where to begin, laugh at yourself as you try to even begin, and just really enjoy and appreciate yourself. Have a great day, everybody.
And of those 30 people, I'm real sure I'm the only one who did anything with it long term. And life is not about comparison, and I don't even know where most of those people are. But I could tell you from the day I learned this technique and strategy, thought process, and system to now, some pretty good stuff's happened. The day I learned it, I had no money. Nobody knew me. I was broke, right? Body not in shape. All I could tell you is 30 years later, it's turned out okay. I'll take it. Now, are there things I would fix? You bet. But one of them is not the way I've used my time and manipulated time and honored the time, my own and that of other people. And so at the end of this life, you're going to add up all those minutes. And I'm convinced of this. Life really comes down to a handful of moments. If you think about your life right now, I said, tell me about your life. You'd describe a handful of moments that stand out in your life, wouldn't you? It's that relationship that happened, or that degree you got, or that promotion, or that time you reconciled with somebody, or that walk on the beach, or that beautiful place you saw or you went to, or that something you felt somewhere. There's these magic moments, aren't there? You just thought of a few of them, right? And to me, a great life is just more of those moments. If you get to the end of your life and there's 3, or you get to the end of your life and there's 300, who had a richer life? You had more of those moments. And I believe when you begin to look at time as more precious, you begin to use it differently, you create more opportunities for those moments to occur in your life than they would otherwise. And they are a handful of moments. At the end of my life, I want the people I love around me, and I want to be reminiscing on those moments. And the longer that list, the more rich it was, the more it was shared with people that I love, the better my life was. And I got a funny feeling the way I look at time, both theirs and mine and God's, will create the opportunities for you and I to have more of those moments in our life than we would otherwise. And it is wrong to look at time like we did 30 years ago, when we've got the blessing of all of these advantages now. We got a chance to live a better and greater life if we begin to use a system of time like these mini days. All right, guys, number one contributor to better health in my life right now is a good night's sleep. It is something, as I've talked about on the show and on my social media for years, that I have really struggled with. It's getting up, it's back pain, it's not being comfortable, it's sweating at night, it's whatever. And I got to tell you, all the health experts I have on the show constantly talk about how important great sleep is. And I got to tell you, one of the big changes for me has been my mattress. I switched a year ago to a Helix mattress, and all of a sudden, I'm talking like within 2 nights, my sleep changed tremendously. My deep sleep changed. My HRV improved. I wasn't too hot or too cold, and I was comfortable where I needed to be. I think that can help you too. Go to helixsleep.com/ed for 20% off site-wide, plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase. That's helixsleep.com/ed for 20% off site-wide, plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase. helixsleep.com/ed. There's this great Chinese proverb that says, if you want to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. And if I'm one of those people in your life that's coming back, I can tell you one of the hacks for me is I've just looked at my life and time very differently. I don't always explain it very articulately, but I know how I use it, and I know what my life looks like. I know that in about 8 minutes, it's the end of my first mini day, and it'll just be a split second of reflection, doubling down, moving on. I know that it's coming up on noon, and I have already done, let's see, today I've worked out already today. I've had my prayer, my morning walk. I did my little cold plunge. I actually am on my second podcast of the day as we're doing this right now. And I also had about 4 phone calls this morning that I've already done, 3 or 4 phone calls. And so that was a pretty productive day so far. And that's because of the way that I look at time. And I can tell you that this is a game changer for those of you that understand it and use it correctly. And so if you want to have a different life than most people, you got to do some things different. And I can tell you right now, the way you look at time, and by the way, you do this for a year or two, and just your overall efficiency. But you know what you're going to have more of? Free time. You're going to have more of? More fun. You're going to have more of? More days you look back on and go, I left it all out on the field today. Man, I got it all out of that day. If this was the last day of my life, I had a great one. And that's, in some extent, when I coach people one-on-one, I always say, if this was your last meeting, if this was your last day, this was your last conversation with your daughter, how would you handle it? Your son, how would you handle it? Your spouse, how would you handle it? Well, if this was the last day of my life, how would I want to have looked at time? And with all of the blessings and advent of technology and influence, and by the way, everybody around you having that same access, this idea that you can only get 3 or 4 meetings done in a 24-hour day, or that every meeting needs to be an hour and 90 minutes long, or that we should only evaluate ourselves around 9 p.m. every single night, seems silly to me. When everything we do, this podcast 30 years ago would be impossible for you to even watch or get on your phone, if that's where you're getting it, or on your YouTube. So this idea that you can watch some of you are listening to the content today on 1.5 speed, aren't you? And that is an indication that you are compressing time frames that to some extent, by the way, I don't recommend that. I think you should hear nuance and listen to an entire show. But it's an indication that you already have technology that can help you speed things up. Email is faster than regular email. Mobile phone contact is a whole lot faster than dial-up is. I could tell you that typing something on a typewriter compared to using Word on your iPad or your Mac is not as efficient, that things have gotten much more efficient. So I should be more efficient. I should be in a bigger hurry. Successful people understand there's a rhythm to success. And it's a little bit faster. Successful people walk faster, just a little bit, talk faster, think faster, act faster, just a little bit. It's just a little bit different pace for the people that are successful in life or productive in life if they want to be. And so this is a hack in order to do that. How about that? Every time, every day, having 3 times where you look up and go, what did I get done? What do I need to double down on? Did I have enough fun? What did I learn? Evaluation. Doing that and stacking that up over a period of time, I believe can help you become more productive, more successful. I think your whole view of the way life and the world works can slightly be altered by the way you look at time. And it makes you appreciate it. If anything, what this does is you're now evaluating the one commodity in your life you can't get enough of, which is time. Of all the topics in personal development, mindset, breathing, exercise, thinking, anti-aging, working out, all these things, right? You know the topic not talked about almost ever? Time, which is what we're talking about today, and how we use it, how we view it, what it can do for us, or what it can do to us if we let it get away from us. If you ever want to know if time can feel differently, take the last 3 minutes on a treadmill, right, when you're running. Can that not feel like an hour and a half, the last 3 minutes there? And then take 3 minutes in the greatest moments of your life with your children or your spouse, and how quickly that goes by. The same 3 minutes, one person's on that treadmill clicking away, feels like an hour and a half. And the other person's in that blissful state of passion or ecstasy or joy or peace. And it's like a flicker. Same amount of time, completely different feeling and emotion. And so how you view time, how you view the emotions of it, the value of it, the productivity of it, the blessing of it, alters everything in your life. I will tell you the ripple effects of this are so many over a long window of time, over a month, over a year, over a decade of your life. I believe you'll have a happier and more productive life. I believe people will respond to you differently. And I believe you'll have created more abundance, more prosperity, and more peace in your life if you begin to look at time a little bit differently. My hack is many days. I recommend it to you as well. God bless you. Share this episode. Max out.
never really end. We now focus on our breathing. Back straight, eyes closed, legs crossed. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel that power that you're using to control your breathing. It's your connection to oneness, to what we all really are, to the truth. The ultimate truth. That you were born to win control over your mind. That when we all do that, we find out the truth of who we all really are. Infinitely intelligent beings, powerful beyond measure. The power of all knowing right here, right now, this moment. You're already made of all knowing of the universe. You're made of that same stuff. With that, you can always have and be your true, peaceful, happy, kind, loving self.